Hey everybody, welcome to the FLC Rewind series here. What we're doing is getting some direct feedback and having some conversations with some of our franchisees. Since we can't get together in person right now, we're looking forward to doing that hopefully next year as soon as it's reasonable to do so. We are talking today about capturing catering sales in 2020. As you guys all know, it's been a really difficult year. And so Brian Jensen has joined us here. Brian's an MUO in Madison, and he's been part of the Subway family for quite a few years. So why don't you just tell us a little bit about that, Brian? Tell us about how long you've been with the brand and how many restaurants you own, that sort of thing.
Sure. I've been with Subway almost 15 years. Feels like 50. No, but 15 years. I have 8 restaurants, all in the Madison area here. I am my director of operations. I'm my maintenance guy, and I'm my bookkeeper. So if you have any questions about any of those, I can probably help you.
You had some kind of a unique experience. A lot of the people in the Madison market saw you on TV this summer during the height of the pandemic. Obviously, business was hurting really, really bad. March, April, May, a lot of us were down 70, 80, 90% at some points. And it was ugly. But you kind of had a unique take, I think, and kind of a shift in motivation. So can you tell us a little bit about what you did and you know, first of all, what inspired you to do it, and what you did to try to really save your business, keep it going, and turn into a growth opportunity as well.
Sure. I basically came across some other franchisees in the system that were doing similar things with their communities, local hospitals, fire departments, police departments, in other parts of the United States. And I kind of took that and ran with it. And basically we tried to collect donations from the public and use those donations to pay for food that then I dispersed to different organizations. One of my restaurants is right next to a hospital. We gave food to hospitals, nursing homes, like I said, fire departments, grocery stores, anything that had like frontline workers. We tried to highlight them and give back, especially at the start of this. Everything was so crazy and intense. And so our customers helped basically fund that initiative.
Mm-hmm. So you had a unique name for it too, right? It was Subs for Scrubs, right?
Yep.
So for the frontline healthcare workers. And so I think a lot of people, they don't quite understand, like you had social media, Facebook, people sharing and resharing everything you were trying to do. And like it had set up a GoFundMe page, right? Where people could donate. $5 would pay for a meal for a first responder. And then for, what was it, every 10 meals that you would donate?
Then we donated one.
Yeah. So,
one on us.
So one at your cost, and then 10 meals that other people in the community were willing to buy from you in order for you to go deliver them to hospitals or whatever, any frontline workers, right?
Yep. And the thing is though, so now that the pandemic is hopefully near the tail end, I would say it would be hard for a franchisee to replicate something like that now. But part of what I can do and will continue to do is, even if you don't have, it's not easy to say, but even if you don't have customers that are giving you money to go out and do X, when you do donate like 20 chips and 6-inch subs to a local fire department, even if it's on you, that goodwill is going to come back to you. And
Hmm.
that's before we started recording, I was just sharing. There was numerous times where I called places to say, "Hey, we'd really like to donate to you." Or even I was trying to fundraise, and I would say, I call a grocery store and I'd say, "Hey, I know you're really active in the community. We're doing this program. Do you have any interest in being a sponsor?" And the answer was, I got one that was, "Well, no, but we want to buy sandwiches from
Hmm.
you." So the moral of the story is, when you start putting yourself, what I found is, when we started getting more involved in the community, these things would randomly come to me. Whereas, and this is a point I want to make at the end, but it's not, nobody, if I sit in my restaurant and just turn the open sign on every day, nobody's going to call me in 2020. I mean, they might, but it's not likely, and say, "I want to order 150 box lunches."
Hmm.
The business isn't going to come to you in 2020.
Right.
Feel like you've got to go out.
Yeah, it's obviously more difficult and takes it, we used to call it street fighting, but getting out there and being a part of the community and just and being involved, and like there's a lot of competition, so you got to kind of fight for the business these days. So like you had a really big response through the whole social media thing, and yeah, the GoFundMe thing, that kind of opportunity may not be there anymore, but like, but the places, the connections that you made with some of these places, has it come back? The ongoing relationship, do you feel like what you did over the summer when things were at its worst has helped benefit you now that things have gotten better? Do you feel like you've
I
sustained
mean, I
that?
still actually get some phone calls saying, from like Meriter Hospital. I don't even have any restaurants near Meriter Hospital,
Hmm.
but I still, about once a month, I get a phone call saying, "Hey, are you still able to deliver? We want to get some sandwiches for our ICU. Are you able to do that delivery?"
Hmm.
Uh,
And they're willing to just pay for them, right?
yep. Or they might have had somebody come to them and say, "We'd like to do something nice for your ICU.
Hmm.
Uh, what can we do?" "Oh, well, we've got a connection with Subway. We can hook you up with them." And
And so they come to you for that. So
sure. Yep.
yeah, a lot of people didn't realize that, like your numbers at some of the stores were actually some of your lower volume stores were actually up because of this extra business during
Right.
the downtime.
I would say we did about 20,000 in extra sales in a month and
In how
a half.
long?
In about a month and a half,
About a month and a half,
across
25.
across like my three main locations that were in the downtown area. So
So what would you tell other franchise owners, like if they don't have the ability to create necessarily a big social media campaign like you did? I don't know how many Facebook friends you have. I don't have. I'm not on Facebook, so I don't have all the followers or anything like that. I'm certainly not a internet influencer by any means, but
sure.
um, if somebody doesn't have the ability to create that kind of campaign, what's something else they can do? Maybe something in a smaller local. They might be in a small town. What kind of suggestions do you make there?
Uh, you know, you can even like I one of the things we did, in addition to GoFundMe and just taking cash donations, is we kind of ran our own like rogue Subway Cares. You pick something, something in your community. Say, we want to. Would you like to donate to first responders? Okay, but in the back of your mind, know that we're going to collect money. We're going to donate to the fire department. Okay, and we just took gift cards, and there's a couple hoops you have to jump through, but we were able to load cash cards. And I mean, I still have one in my wallet. It's I have to disperse it, but you know, uh, right here. So
Mhm.
frontline donations, I think this has got like 200 bucks on it. So when the time comes and I get my focus back on what I'm doing, I mean, I'm gonna, basically I'll run these sandwiches through the register and then I'll just take the money off of this card, swipe
Sure.
it. So you can just do something small like that, so you
Obviously, you got to make sure that you follow through on it, because if you just go get some bunch of people
right,
that donate and buy a gift card and you just
do
hang on
nothing.
to it, you know,
Right,
it could backfire on you in a hurry. Yeah.
right, correct. So, but
That's something you
once
can
you
do for
go,
schools, a local school that might be, struggling, or whatever, right? You could do
right,
it.
like grocery stores, nursing homes, um, any of those things, and those people are going to come back. Just the people that get your sandwiches, they're going to be more apt to want to give you business anyway down the road, because that was really I get so much feedback of this is so great, or we're going to keep going to your restaurant from now on, stuff like that. I would say just one of the keys to catering, though, you don't need to do something grand like I did. Just do the basics. Make sure you're getting fresh food out to your people, your customers. Uh, Make sure it looks good, and then follow up with them. That's the biggest thing. It takes effort, but I have 35 different at least contacts, and I'm going to be sending them cards. Just, hey, again, thank you so much for everything you did during the height of the pandemic. We were glad we were able to partner with you. And I'm getting my just Subway. I'm not saying like, oh, do you have any orders you want to place, but trying to just get me back in their minds too. And after you do a catering order, call them up in 2 or 3 days later. Be like, hey, this is Brian from Subway down the street. I know you placed that platter order with us. I just kind of wanted to follow up and see did everything go okay. I mean, going that action, that's going to set you apart from your competition. And
Sure.
in my opinion, that's how you're going to grow your catering business.
Yeah. I think it drives home that locally owned connection too, that everybody's trying to buy local. That's like a thing. They want to connect with local businesses, and they see a giant brand on a store, Subway, 24,000 locations or whatever. They don't realize I think a lot of people don't realize that each one of those is owned by somebody like you. It's owned by their neighbor or their
Mhm.
friend from church or school or something like that. And um, so that connection, that following up, just lets them know that, hey, this food just didn't magically disappear from a random Subway that's just this corporate, cog in the wheel type thing. It came from Brian.
Yeah.
So
So, and maybe, the other helpful hints is keep track of what people ordered. You even make a small spreadsheet. Keep track of what people ordered, when they ordered, and a contact information, and you give them a follow. It's almost like a sales job a little bit,
mm,
where, you know, you bought X product. Were you pleased with it? Would you buy from us again? Not
right.
those words, uh, but that's going to be your nurturing those relationships. Um,
Mm,
Also, I mean, it's a little different, but to be successful, a lot of us have people, a lot of us work in our restaurants. I do. We have regulars that come in. Get to know your regulars. Where do they work? Um, Ask. Don't feel afraid to ask for. Hey, you have a titling company. Do you ever do food at your closes?
mm,
Um, it might not be something that they think about Subway, but uh, ask for those recommendations. Do you have anybody that that would ever do like catering for lunch? What's the worst they could say? No. And all right, it's 2020 is all about lifting up stones, looking under them. Nothing there. Okay, pick it up again. Look again, because that's what that you got to be persistent.
yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you really, I think, kicked some butt this summer with that, in what was a really really tough time. I think it's hard for all of us when it seems like the world is kind of against us, and government shutting things down, and the whole pandemic thing, and and I think you and I talked earlier this summer that um, you actually got kind of re-inspired and said, look, I don't have a choice. I have to do some stuff that I haven't done in a while to save my business and to grow it, and to build relationships so that I have those customers coming out on the other side of this thing. People are going to remember who I am, and maybe they'll, when they have more money in their pocket and they have more ability to go spend it, they'll come spend it with me. So, like, it was inspiring for me to see one of our people in the Subway family getting out there and doing that again, and really getting after it. And because that's how I remember this business. When my parents first started back in the '80s, I remember seeing them, trying to chase down this business and handing out, whether it was cookie platters or whatever, or something, trying to generate that relationship and generate that local, those
Mhm.
connections for. So anyway.
You just have to, in my opinion, I think you have to set yourself apart from your competition.
Mhm.
So, you know, are other restaurants, are the sandwich joints, are they out there doing that? I don't know. But you need to level up,
Sure.
so to speak. And because if we keep doing the same thing that we've been doing, we're not gonna make it. So you've gotta look at your operations, look what you're doing. I mean, I still need to do that every day. I can't get complacent. You've gotta keep saying, how can I do this differently? Because but you're gonna have to do difficult things,
Right.
things you're not comfortable with. It's not enjoyable to call somebody up and say, hey, like I've tried to donate to people and they tell me, but hey, we have a bunch of food to give you and we're not interested. That's not an enjoyable experience, but not everybody's doing that because it's not enjoyable.
Right.
So to get out there and grow, you're going to have to do some things that you maybe aren't 100% comfortable.
Sure. Sure. Well,
I'm on my soapbox now.
hey, being an entrepreneur is not about being comfortable. It's about getting out of your comfort zone sometime. So, like I said, you did a great job of it this summer. So, really appreciate you joining us and sharing that with the rest of the owners in the area. I think that everybody will be, inspired, or at least have some good ideas on how they can get out there and connect with their communities as well. So anyway,
Sure.
Thanks a ton for joining us. And
thanks for thinking of me. I'm glad I could try to share and help out the franchisee community.